Hello traders, welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 183. As you perfectly know, in this video we're gonna have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what kind of opportunities we had, and most importantly what kind of projections we can throw for the upcoming week. This week was actually pretty nice. We had some great moves. In terms of intraday, it was really hard. I got lots of break-evens and I actually had a very up and down week. So I'm finishing overall at -1R, I believe. And I have to do a trading setups breakdown video on this one because I took a lot of trades this week. So I took like 2 to 3 break-evens on Monday, half stop loss on Tuesday because I reduced my stop loss. Then I took a beautiful 4R trades on Wednesday. And then I took 4 losses in a row, which was pretty much my max daily loss on Thursday. And then I took another loss on Friday. So pretty much -1. A lot of trades, but still kind of got a little bit unlucky here and there. Got stopped out by spread and then stuff like this. So it wasn't a great week for me, a little bit busy. I was going to be publishing the market structure video today from the trading plan series. You're going to have that next week, I promise. So make sure you're subscribed and turn on the notification bell in order not to miss it. And of course, if you're new to this channel, it's all about trading. This weekly outlook and setups is shared every Saturday. And once per week, I'm going to be sharing an educational piece of content. And pretty much that's it. Without further ado, let's have a look. Today, we're just going to have a beautiful top-down analysis. Let's get into it. Alright, as always, we're gonna get started with a Dixie on the weekly time frame. First of all, let me throw you at my other screen to have a look what we have next week. And you can see we don't have a lot of high impact news. Usually those are the news that you should be mostly focused on, like not to trade or to potentially expect a lot of volatility during that time. Monday is actually a public holiday in the US and Canada. So what I have spotted usually is that when you have a public holiday, the market also tends to move a lot. So don't just say, oh, it's public holiday, right? I'm not going to trade. Tune in on the charts. Tuesday, we have RBA meeting minutes and then we have like PMIs right there. So again, it says major impact. It's not CPI, it's PMI, which is also very important, but not as important as the CPI. Wednesday, interest rate, press conference, rate statement for the New Zealand. Right, for the NZD. So if you're trading NZD, they're going to be hiking their rates by 50 basis points, which is great. So you should be expecting that. And FOMC minutes late during the night. So that will definitely potentially shake out the market. Then on Thursday, we have GDP annualized for Q4, right? And pretty much that's it. Nothing on Friday. So it looks like I like the week, right? Especially Monday, Tuesday, we can have some good trading. Wednesday morning, then we have FOMC. Then Thursday could look a little bit funny because of the FOMC. And then Friday could also be a pretty good trading day. So of course, let's not try to forecast way too much. We're just going to be flowing with the market. So currently on the Dixie, again, if we just recap, right, we're pulling back in terms of this monthly leg right there. And as you can see, we're just tapping roughly around the 50%. We went below it. And the market came in and grabbed this little low as potential liquidity, right? And it started reacting. But again, if we ask the question, what is currently the market doing? Well, it's going down. It shifted down on the weekly here. It broke structure right there. And it's keep breaking structure and making new lower lows and lower highs. Currently, we can draw this little guy. And again, I usually tell you that I don't draw too much on the left, but this is not on the left. This is the most recent weekly supply, which in my opinion, it's an important zone to be looking at and to be mindful of. Dropping onto the daily, well, pretty much if you remember, since my last forecast, we predicted that this high could get taken. It got taken, right? Why? Well, because the daily broke structure right there. It aligned bullish right there. So the daily was actually bullish, had a push, we had a pullback. The market chopped around a little bit and then went on, took out the high. And right now we are staying within this weekly zone. Okay, so very important to really kind of identify what is going to be happening inside. So we know that we're bearish on the weekly. On the daily, we are bullish, but we kind of had that. So if we potentially track the waves, like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right now we have this A, B, C into supply, right? So can we start expecting a new 5-wave formation to the downside? Could be, right? But again, as I always say, don't forecast way too much in time, too far away in time. So zooming in right there, yeah, it was rather tricky to read it like there. Like we came in, took out this low, took out the high, and then we started making higher lows, higher highs, and right now we're pulling back towards a new higher low. My question is on this one, right? Because if you really look carefully into it, This could be classified also as a structure break. It's not only this one right there, but I can also classify this one as break, right? Because it has this inside candle, then we have another one, and then we continue on to break, right? So currently we are technically testing this demand, which according to my precise rules is going to be the major demand. So if we break below this one, then I can start classifying the 4-hourly as bearish. But precisely in this exact example, I don't like it too much. I usually prefer to see like a pullback like this. So if you want to be extra secure that the market is shifting down, then also wait for this one to break, right? So yeah, this is it currently. Like we're coming in towards this massive zone. Like we first tapped in, like gathered some liquidity, took it out right now with this daily push. So right now, if the 4-hourly time frame starts to align to the downside and trend to the downside, then that could mean bearish DXY. All right, so this is my outlook so far, right? I'm not going to be dropping on the 50-minute time frame right now and looking for longs because what I think could happen is first thing on market open, we can potentially break down. Because look at this, right? So this is a beautiful V-shaped formation. We pushed up, and then if you just study the candle anatomy, right? So we have one candle, weak candle, weak candle, weak candle, engulfing candle that engulfed the past 3 candles, right? And then the next one also engulfed this one, right? So a lot of sellers came in right there on Friday. So we can have a little reaction, break, and then if you start trending down, then that would be beautiful. Right, so you can say I'm kind of forecasting a little bit of a bearish dollar. Again, is it gonna happen? I don't know, right? So let's flow with the markets. Let's see what happens on Tuesday. But this is how I currently look at the market. I don't have much projections. What I really would like to happen is something like this. Okay, a reversal. If not, then we can continue trending into the upside because we're still staying in demand. So again, let's see, wait for Monday to open, and then we're gonna, of course, adapt. Let's have a look at Mr. Euro USD. This week it moved nicely. There were also a lot of swing trading setups to be taken, but a little bit hard to execute also in terms of the intraday setups, right? So I took, I don't know what I took. I took a couple of break evens. I took a very nice win on EU for 4R, and then I took 2 losses the other day. I took 2 losses on US30 on the same day, so 4 losses. Again, I'm having a -1 week this one if you didn't watch the intro, right? So very volatile week for me, kind of up and down, break even, then a nice win, then again starting to have some losses. And because I added US30 to my list, so technically right now I'm trading 2 pairs and I have double the exposure, so I have to like make a little bit of a transition towards trading 2 instruments because so far I only traded EU, right? But I'm getting involved into US30 right now as well. So again, this is pretty much inverted of the DXY. If I just do this, you're going to be seeing the DXY precisely the same price action, right? So we're pulling back roughly around 50% of the monthly leg. And again, on this case, you can start dropping like supply zones on the left. And yeah, the most recent is this guy. You can say, okay, this is the one that the market respected. Cool, right? We're having 2 weeks of bearish reaction. But right now, if you also zoom in, you're technically having a break of structure right there. And this is the current demand zone that we are into, right? You can even refine it a little bit to the wick if you wish. You can take it to the body, it doesn't really matter. We're tapping inside, and this week we're kind of rejecting. So what we said on the Dixie is that it can start rolling down, right? So this means EU can start pushing up. So can this happen? Again, we don't know, right? But weekly is still bullish in terms of EU, but monthly is overall bearish, pulling back above the 50%, coming in to retest like 1.10. So are we going to drop down, or are we going to continue going further? Again, this is going to depend on the central banks, what Powell is going to say this week. We're going to see. And then again, going on to the daily time frame, you can see it looks pretty good. It looks pretty bearish as well. So we came in high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, very nicely tapped inside this zone, and then we created this very nice daily shift. So again, where did Monday open? Yeah, there is Monday. So again, you can see this week, it was kind of bearish. It pushed up, then it took out this high, which was a nice liquidity during the CPI. I think we had CPI on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't recall. And yeah, then we rolled to the downside, creating a new lower low. So what we can do right now is we can even refine this zone to this, right? You can see this is where we're currently responding. But still, to me, the daily is bearish. It's not very clean, right? The last structure break is here, and I suspect that the 4-hourly time frame is going to give us more clues. So what pretty much happened this week is we made this very nice push into the highs. We took out this high, and as you can see from the past, we had like this going on as supply right there. We had a little bit of an ABC correction right there, then we pushed down. So we were technically bearish. And while the market came in right there, I'm not sure that this was probably the CPI, because we had the CPI on Tuesday. It sounds so far away from me. We took everything out, right? So here it depends on what you do. Okay, so our wicks breaks for you or our bodies breaks for you, right? I personally trade with wick breaks. So to me, this looked like a break of structure up. So then I drew this demand. However, I was really aware that overall sentiment of the market is going bearish from the daily, from this like beautiful manipulation pushed up, and right now we're rolling to the downside. So we're gonna be seeking to go somewhere, right, from on opposite demand, right? So here we tapped into supply, and then usually the market is gonna go seek demand, which is right there, all right? So I knew that potentially this one is gonna go bearish, and again you can see the market tapped, reacted from our demand, right? But it retested a little bit of base supply on the left, and then it just rolled down. Right now we're pulling back, again retesting supply, which is a little bit tough to draw because it's not this guy, it's probably something like that. So I'm gonna use a higher time frame, like an 8-hourly time frame. Is it gonna give us something? Yeah, well, I like this one, right? So there is a very nice 8-hourly. Maybe the 6 hours is gonna give us something. Yeah, you can also take this as a 6-hourly. So this is where we're currently tapping in, but again, we're massively reacting from this daily / weekly demand, okay? So EU is in a very tricky positioning right now, so we gotta be extra careful, but still I am bearish on the 4H as long as we stay below this level right there, all right? So what you can be doing right now is dropping onto the 50-minute time frame. We're already grabbing some structural liquidity right there. So if the 50-minute maybe like pushes up a little bit and then it starts to trend down, then I will be really interested in taking shorts and riding it all the way down, okay? But what you should also be aware is that we're having like a range manipulation and a nice initiation outside of this range right there. So there are a lot of buyers coming in from here. There are probably going to be a lot of sellers coming in from here, right? So who is going to win? Well, we're only going to see as the market plays out, right? So yeah, pretty much that's it this week. I'm really pissed on this short right there because I took a short precisely from right here. I took it as a swing trade. I took a stop loss on a 1-minute setup and I had a swing trade right there. This one never broke right there, but my broker actually swept this high and kind of closed right there, which took my stop loss. So I was really pissed on this one because I was gonna target down the lows right there. So pretty much I had to trade something like that, and then my stop loss was right there. It was 5 pips, right? So this was my trade, and then the target was down there. I got swept on this one. I was so pissed. And then here it started kind of ranging, so it didn't give another 1-minute setup, and I didn't want to enter another 15-minute. And yeah, so that one was really painful. And then I'm probably gonna do a trading setups breakdown tomorrow if I have the time, because I took a lot of trades. There is a lot to learn from this week, but going back pretty much to the analysis, that's it, right? So 4-hourly is still bearish for me. I'm really interested to see what is going to happen within this area right here. If the 50-minute starts trending down, I'm going to be interested for shorts. And of course, if we kind of give a reaction, break above, then I'm going to start turning bullish and potentially going with the flow of the market, right? So there are my two outcomes, either shorts from here or like a flip to the upside, and then we start taking longs. So let's see. Let me know in the comments what you think of EU. Are we going to go up or are we going to continue going down? Let me know. Euro yen is next. Let's have a look. So we're having a beautiful engulfing candle right there on the weekly time frame, right? And if you still remember on this one, I'm pretty tired of breaking this weekly price action because it doesn't change. It kind of stays really static, kind of chopping around this level. But technically on the weekly, we're still bullish on Euro yen. We came in very close to breaking this low. Maybe it wicked it, maybe it did not. I don't know. But we are currently very nicely responding from it. And we chopped around for quite a couple of times right there. So it's like a month of chop right there. Right now we're starting to see some bullishness. So is it really going to continue climbing higher? Well, we got to see. And finally, right, wow, I'm so happy. I didn't look at EJ until now. We finally broke above the zone. Like, we were staying in this zone for, as I said, 48 days. The market creating this daily supply, coming in, trying to break, failing, coming in, trying, failing, coming in, trying, failing, right? Coming in again and finally breaking it. Wow. So analysis becomes very simple right now because we have a daily break of structure up. We have a beautiful daily demand zone that actually caused the break. So it swept the lows right there and then it continued to push up. So that is a very beautiful daily range. And then if you go to the 4H, right, so we're going to have a little bit of a difference. So yeah, look at that. So this is why I told you don't trade Euro yen. Wait for it to happen. Range accumulates. took out the stop losses. So I'm gonna teach on my market structure video why not to trade consolidations and what usually happens during consolidations. Everybody has stop loss below, everybody has sell stops below. They got taken, right? Everybody has a stop loss above and buy stops above. They got taken, right? The market returns back, consolidates, right? So people buying from here, right? They think the market's gonna go up. Nope, everybody gets stop loss. People think the market's gonna sell, the market buys, right? So that was just a massive manipulation going on right there on Euro-Yen. But I think currently it's over. And as we start trending very nicely right now, it's gonna be a question of how do we align with that daily bias, right? So if the daily bias is bullish, then we wait for the volatility to get bullish and get a beautiful setup, okay? Currently, we are at this daily high, and it's not very nice, right? So I take wicks as breaks. So technically this for me is a wick. This to me is the demand zone that we're tapping in, and we came in already, we're reacting, and it looks like it also wants to break the high. All right, so if I just jump on 15, yeah, unfortunately this is a no trade for me, because what this big push made the 50-minute bearish. So in order for me for the 50-minute to become bullish, it has to break this one. But if you break this one, it's already gonna be a full-hourly break, right? So not looking good. So again, my tip on EJ is, like, if you took any of these longs right there, amazing job. All right, I personally think we might get a little bit of a short-term bearishness to pull us back towards the daily zone, right? Because right now we have a beautiful daily range like this, right? And also I want you to have a look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So right now the market can throw a little bit of an ABC to the downside, create a higher low on the daily, and then start rolling into the highs. Okay, so I'm not gonna throw any forecast simply because I just don't like what is happening right now. It's still bullish. So if we break above this guy, we're gonna be having like a new higher low formation, which is probably gonna be like something like this wick. Right, so then if this happens, then we, of course, yeah, you can go follow the market. And then if the higher low breaks, then you can take a couple of shorts, right? Maximum 1, 2, 3, right? Maximum a couple of ranges down, because then the market could be aligning with the daily and continuing to push into the highs. If we really have that bullish USD yen and a bullish Euro USD, that is the perfect time to be trading the yen pairs. So let's see, not looking great right now in terms of the volatility time frame, but of course it can align very nicely. It's very important that we're finally outside of this ugly range right there. The manipulation is all done. So if you are an Euro yen trader, now is the time to get focused. Next on the list are the Aussies. Let's have a look what is happening here. So if you just look at the weekly candle, it was pretty volatile this week. So we kind of opened, pushed up, pushed down, then closed. Kind of an indecision, but still at the same time being bearish. Like you can see, the size of this candle is twice as large as the previous one. Let's acknowledge that the weekly time frame is still bullish, right? So do we draw it like this? Do we draw it like this or like this, right? It doesn't matter as much, right? So again, if you just drop a PD range, there it is, 50% is tapped. So again, this one is very questionable. And again, we know that it's tapping into something on the left, took the liquidity above this high. So this is why we're having this huge reaction. So again, it is really right now about the lower timeframes and seeing how they are gonna align from this potential weekly zone, right? Because the daily timeframe broke up here, then it broke down there. Oops, not this one. Broke down here, and then right now we are breaking again another bearish lower low. And currently, yes, we're technically bearish on the daily. We're making this lower low. We could be potentially pulling back for a lower high. If I again look at the waves, I like looking at the waves. I don't really trade with waves, but again, we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Well, maybe a little bit more, right? Yeah, kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So A, B, C right now, and then we can potentially start pushing up. But again, dropping on the 4H, right? So the 4H is gonna be a little bit different because yes, so technically this one, according to my rules, this is a valid break, and then technically this is gonna be a valid supply, okay? So very tricky because we can potentially, so what I see is a couple of scenarios on this one. We either come in here and reverse from there, perfect, or we either come in from here and reverse, or we either turn bullish and start trending into the highs. Okay, so those are pretty much my three scenarios. Why? Because to me, this right now, according to my rules, this is my major lower high. So if this one breaks, then I'm going to be determining this market as bullish. Okay, but I also know that we are here in tapping inside a daily supply zone, right? So we can get in a lot of sellers from here, and then the market could align again. Okay, So when it comes to the Aussie, I think it's gonna be all about the flow, right? So just following the hourly time frame and just okay. So right now we're bearish. So again, if you drop to the 50-minute time frame right now and it just starts to nicely go down, then definitely shorts all in, right? But if we continue to chop and then maybe we have like what I said on some of the other pairs, we can have like a reaction, then a break, then I'm gonna be turning bullish. So there's so many lines right there. So I'm just gonna delete all. But yes, this is pretty much my outlook right now, right? So we do not know what to expect as much. The most important thing is that we're currently bearish. We're staying currently at a lower high formation. So if we start getting that bearish market kicking in on the 15-minute or lower, you can definitely be looking for shorts. But if you get a reaction and then a break, then of course you can start looking for the longs as well, while being mindful that we are in daily supply. Okay, so as simple as that, it's all about the flow, right? Don't try to think too hard. Okay, this is gonna happen, this is gonna break, it's gonna go there, it's gonna reverse from there. No, you never know what's gonna happen, right? So the real skill is to flow with the market. Aussie yen, probably finally some bullishness right there on the Aussie yen. Yeah, so technically this market is still kind of bearish again on the weekly time frame, dropping on the daily. Yeah, this one is kind of still inside this daily range. So unlike AJ still hasn't taken made a daily break, but again on the hourly time frame, this is creating structure. So again, from last week we had a bit of a downtrend, and then it was here, right? So Monday started with a nice rally to the upside, so very nice rally to the upside. Why? I don't know. Were there some news for the JPY push up? And currently structure is clean. Okay, so structure is clean on this one. We are sitting in a weekly supply, right? We came in, we grabbed the liquidity above these highs, okay? And right now the market is bullish on the foliage. The market pushed, tapped inside, tried to push, failed, tried to push, failed, tried to push, failed. So if we break below this, which is our major higher low, then technically this market becomes bearish and we can start rolling down. Okay, so as simple as that. I wouldn't really touch it right now because it came in like once, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So if there were any buyers from this level since Wednesday, it should have pushed up. So I kind of can presume that this one is gonna break down. And if it breaks down, then you just draw your supply zone and then you try to short from it, right? Because we're still staying in a weekly supply. Daily is also bearish, right? This is not a valid lower high to me, this candle. So daily is also still bearish. So weekly bearish, daily bearish. If the hourly becomes bearish, then again, we can be looking for some high probability shorts in terms of the macro time frames. So let's see. Again, JPY pairs, they tend to be tricky. Wait on them. But yeah, this is AJ. I'm looking for some sort of shorts if we break below this one. And then again, yeah, if Aussie dollar goes into a short, then that could mean AJ could also follow up nicely to the downside. So let's see, but we're also gonna check out USD JPY later to really see if we can have some confidence for going short on the USD, on the yen pairs. Very interesting positioning of NZD USD right now in terms of the weekly. So again, we shifted the weekly bullish right there. We went on and we made a new higher high. Again, I take wicks as breaks. This is currently our demand zone. It got tapped, reacted, and right now it's just about to break. And to remind you, if you didn't watch at the beginning, we're having Wednesday, huge day for the NZD, right? 50 basis points hike. So that should be bullish for the NZD. So again, right now it just looks like to me wants to break, but it could just be retesting like the lowest point before it explodes up. Okay, so what we have right there is like, again, like a couple of waves to the upside. Right now we have A, B, C. So again, I definitely think if this one goes like to plan with the interest rate hike and if everything goes good, then this can potentially definitely continue going higher, right? But currently it is bearish. Right, there is bearish. This is our daily lower high formation tapping into a weekly demand zone. And yeah, pretty much you can take the weekly zone and make it a 4-hourly zone. And this is where we're currently reacting at, right? And if I just zoom in, well, this is precisely the same as Aussie dollar. This to me is a valid break. This to me is a... Is it? No, it's not. All right, so this one is not. Okay, so it's not. So this is my major lower high on this one. So slight bit difference with AU. So AU like made this candle. We have 2 candles that actually stayed right there, classifying it as a valid pullback according to me. This one just had like 1 candle, then the next one candle breaks. So this to me is not a valid pullback. So yeah, technically this is still my major lower high. which is gonna take a lot of time for the 4-hourly market to turn bullish because we have to all the way come in and break this high. So what could happen is we can come in, get a reaction, break above, and then shift bullish, right? What could also happen is we actually make a new low right there, take out the low, and then use this as a massive liquidity grab below this level to then eventually turn the market up. But I don't know why I'm already forecasting longs because of the interest rate hike. This one can go both ways, right? Sometimes the hike, you think, oh, it's gonna go up, right? Then that's when it goes down, okay? So very simply right now, daily is bearish, weekly is still bullish, right? 4-hourly is also bearish. So let's see who is gonna prevail, right? So we came very close towards breaking the zone. Right now we're bearish. You can also use this as a supply zone, by the way. So if it comes in right there and if the 50-minute starts going down, then you can definitely take a short. To me, this is the major one. So this is where I'm also going to be looking to short. And if we break above this one, then I would say that this market is bullish, but then we're going to be tapping into this daily supply, which is very similar to the Aussie. Okay, so not very clean price action right now, but again, it just looks bearish to me on the 4H, which is my main time frame. So if I ignore all the other time frames, I'm just going to be looking for shorts, right? So I wouldn't have this, right? I wouldn't have this, right? And this is what I would have. Push, pull back, looking for shorts. If we break above this level, looking for longs, right? As simple as that. But of course, sometimes it's very important to also perform top-down analysis, okay? NJ, let's have a look. This one is tricky again. Is it bearish on the weekly? Yeah, I think so. We broke down there. Again, it's coming into top like this, very extreme as well, reacting from it. I really don't like this. Like if I just zoom out a little bit, it's in a pure consolidation on the weekly. Dropping on the day. Yeah, is it only EJ that broke that daily structure? Yeah, it looks like it. Like NJ still came in, reacted, came in, reacted, came in, reacted, reacted, came in, reacted. Like, come on, man. Break outside already. But yeah, similar to the other yen pairs, we had this like downtrend, and then on Monday, like this massive push. I don't know what happened on Monday. I have to go back and check what happened on Monday. Maybe you guys tell me. Okay, so tricky price action right there, because again, to me, this one is a break, right? So some of you are like, why would you take this one as a break? This is just like it didn't even break it. To me, it's a break, right? And then of course, fine, this is not the valid one. Then to me, this is the higher low formation. The market came in, reacted, came in, reacted, and right now it broke. So technically to me, NJ is right now bearish. Then the question is, okay, where is my lower high? Okay, it's not this. So then technically it's the high. Okay, so this one is a slightly bit difficult analysis, but this is how I look into it. Okay, so this is my major lower high right now. The market, according to me, is bearish. If it comes in right there, then I'm going to be looking for shorts on a lower time frame. And yeah, it can just roll to the downside, right? And then just continue following it until we're wrong. So again, yeah, we're still tapping inside this daily zone that I just think it probably will break. Like how many times is it going to come in and how many times the BFIs are going to sell from here? I don't know, right? But anytime we come in, all the time we launch sales. So I'm really confused by this big daily range. What is going to happen? It's cooking for something. And then again, next week is NZD interest rate. So what I wouldn't be surprised to happen is if we massively like break out above, and then if we start just rolling down. Again, we don't know. But this is how I currently look at the market. If I ignore everything, to me, 4-hourly is bearish. This is my lower high. So I'm going to be looking for shorts. Let's have a look at the DXY, but for the yen pairs, which is USD JPY, right? So we're having an overall bullish week right here. And yes, we had this little base supply zone that actually got broken. But again, this is not a major lower high. It's nothing. What I would say is the current major weekly lower high is this, okay? And then this little high can be utilized as a liquidity grab, right? The structural liquidity. So again, this one pretty much resembles the DXY as well. They're pulling back into some sort of a supply. They have been bearish for a while. So again, the question is right now, where do we roll? Do we reverse? Do we continue going down? Again, we don't know. Do we have anything? No, we actually have a bank holiday on Wednesday next week for the JPY. So daily time frame is bullish right now. So we have that like that. If you have a bearish weekly range, then the daily has to shift bullish in order to make a weekly lower high. Okay, so if you have a bearish 4-hourly time frame push, then the 50-minute is gonna turn bullish in order to make a lower high. Okay, so this is what we have right now. The daily has shifted bullish. It's potentially making a weekly lower high and it's coming in into weekly supply. All right. But still, again, what you're going to have is right now that the daily is bullish and the daily range starts from here. Right. So you cannot wait for this one to break until you take your short. Right. So what your outcomes are is potentially a new high that is a more recent one. So then you have this break. Or what you simply go and do is you go to the 4-hourly time frame, because the 4-hourly time frame is going to give you the first sign that the market is reversing. All right. So what we have right there is what I'd really like to see. The market had this supply zone. So lots of people probably sold from here. The guys that look on the left too much, right? Not following the recent bullish structure. Here we actually had a break of structure up. There is a demand zone. So you actually have to take this long, right? So we took the long. Currently, we have this demand zone. The market is stepping inside. So again, to me, the market is currently bullish. Okay. I think mainly two scenarios. We either go in and make a new high and then we see what is going to happen from here, or we make a trend change down and then we try to short the market. Very simple, two scenarios. My question is, okay, is this tap enough inside this weekly zone? But it actually took like this major liquidity. So it could go a little bit deeper to come and like revisit some of these levels. This really depends if enough sell orders are going to enter from there. But again, to me, if the 4-hourly time frame aligns down, then I'm going to be ready for sales, which is going to bring a lot of confidence to sell all the yen pairs. Okay, so watch this closely. This is the last higher low formation, right? So if this one breaks, then technically you are given a short signal. Okay, there are no news for the JPY next week that I'm aware of. So again, try to flow with the market, try to flow with the 4H, know where you are on the weekly, know what the daily is also doing. And yeah, I'm going to be updating you on Tuesday. Let's look at the UCAT quickly. This is a pair that I don't understand. I've never had success trading UCAT, but it's very heavily requested. So we're still bullish on the weekly right there. And I'm still kind of drawing this demand zone, expecting potentially this low to fail. Why? Well, because this tried to create a higher low, tried to push up, failed, and right now it's coming back. And usually those lows become liquidity, right? Because they're weak lows. Because what makes a strong low is a low that actually causes a break of structure, right? And I'm going to teach you that soon. But yeah, this week we responded very nicely. We're having like an overall bullish week, which is very good. And yeah, so you can see Monday kind of bearish, Tuesday we had a little bit of a spike, and then we have 3 days of a nice push up. The thing is here is that yeah, so where did we align bullish on the daily? So yeah, the question to me is, was this really a bullish daily alignment? And then we draw this demand zone, right? Is this really a major daily range? I don't really think so. Yeah, so very tricky right there. But yeah, even if it's not, then here we also took out this high. Okay, so is this grabbing liquidity from the upside in order to go down, or is it reversing up? We don't know. Right, so the daily is currently technically, according to me, bullish in this push phase, right? So the 4-hourly time frame is also bullish in this push phase, right? And so technically, if I draw my 4-hourly demand zone, it's perfectly sitting at the top of the daily demand zone, right? So we have this 4-hourly break. Yeah, here it also reversed. It came in, tagged. Did it tag the 50%? Well, kind of on this, a little bit lower, right? And right now we have we have another 50%. So if we pull back again, so I wouldn't really be looking for the market to come all the way down. Usually what I found is that for me, those very deep pullbacks don't work, right? So I'm not sure if they work on USD CAD, right? But I'm currently technically bullish on the on the pair. The question is, okay, where do we long it from? At least I would like to see a tap of the 50%, and then if the 50-minute time frame starts aligning, then we can be looking for longs. But again, this to me is confusing on the daily as well, right? So again, as I keep saying, USD CAD loves to enter into ranges, loves to break out into ranges, take the low, take the high, and then it just enters into another range, right? Take the high, take the low, another range. I don't understand the pair, but again, I keep breaking it down. So this is how I look into it right now. Daily is bullish, 4-hourly is bullish. So I'm long biased. The question is, where do we long from? Well, I would like to see a 50% pullback, and then potentially to see how the 50 minutes is going to react. I'm not going to be drawing like any zones like this, for example, or this, right? So because they're not valid zones to me. The valid zone is down there, so we can maybe make it a little bit bigger like this, right? Maybe you can go to 8 hours, right? Or maybe you can go to 12 hours if you want to drop it, but yeah, it's still small. So yeah, that's it. Let's not overcomplicate it. The market is bullish.
This is currently our higher low. So in order for the market to become bearish right now, it's going to be really tough because it has to break this, right? So what we can also have is another push, a recent break if you want to see it go down, right? So keep following the flow, nothing much on this pair, looking for longs. Let's see how it goes. Let's have a look at the pound pairs. So starting with GU on the weekly time frame, I'm just gonna go ahead and zoom in, right? So let's not look on the left. Here, what we have is a weekly higher high, which got just taken by a couple of pips, right? So again, the question is, do you take this as a higher high formation or do you take it as a liquidity grab? Well, I leave this to you. To me, it is a break, right? So then this creates a weekly higher low demand zone. The market comes in, responds, and responds again this week. And pretty much we're having 2 weeks of indecision. So what I've seen happen a lot is when you're having a formation like this, the market is usually giving you a response and then flips down and then it starts to reverse. Okay, so I'm not forecasting really shorts from now because we don't know. But this is one of the macro outcomes that we can expect is a bearish GU breaking below this zone after it kind of responded for 2 weeks. From it. Dropping on the day is also bearish right now, so we can refine a little bit like this. It came in, you can see responded, it broke. So yes, technically right now the daily bias is bearish right there, right? So because we have this break of structure down, so that gives us even further confidence that we might continue to push down. And then the 4-hourly time frame. So the 4-hourly time frame is going to be a bit trickier because it could potentially shift bullish in order to retest that daily zone. My major lower high on GU is this, right? It's not this one right there, it's this, right? And we're currently tapping inside. So similar to the other pairs we had a look at, right? We have a couple of scenarios. Right here, we can either just start shorting from here because it's the valid supply. So if the 50 minutes starts going bearish, we can definitely do so. The second scenario is we had a reaction, break, retest, and then potentially push it into this daily supply. Or we just rocket through the roof and we come inside right there. And then here we have to evaluate to see what is going to happen. All right. So those are pretty much my 3 outcomes on GU. And I'm going to leave it here. Okay. Because we don't know. So what is very important is that first thing in Monday, you just wait on it. Let's see what is going to happen. It's so far bearish on the FOIC. It's bearish on the daily. If I take the daily range, yes, we're not at 50% yet. So we cannot really have that high probability short. So again, we can definitely flip above this zone, right? So we're just going to turn the 4-hourly bearish. But again, let's keep in mind what the daily is doing. But again, let's keep in mind that the weekly is still bullish. And of course, it can continue going higher because if you remember, EU is also overall bullish and it can also go higher, right? AU is also bullish and it can also go higher. So that really depends on the Dixie if the Dixie is gonna go on a sell-off, right? So let's see, keep all of those outcomes open. Really curious to see what this level is going to do. Again, as I said, if it breaks above, then take it again. So we have pretty much, you have a break and a retest right there. So if it breaks above, you wait for the retest and then you continue going higher and then you just follow the flow, right? So I'm trying really hard to tell you that you don't need to know what is going to happen next. You don't need to forecast. You don't need to draw all of those levels. What really matters is that you zoom in, right? 4-hourly time frame is bearish. I'm looking for shorts. If it breaks, I'm going to look for longs, right? If it then breaks down here, I'm going to look for shorts, right? So flow with the market, easy, but very curious to see what's going to happen. Let me know what is your potential forecast on GU. GJ, I would expect some bullishness. Yeah, so again, this one is still overall bullish on the weekly. Coming in from this weekly demand zone right there. And it's been chopping around for a while. Let me check the daily range. Is it still the same? Yeah, so it's only euro yen. It's only euro yen out of all of the yen pairs that actually caused the break of that stupid daily range that we've been staying for quite a while, right? So what I can say about this pair, came in, reacted, came in, reacted, came in, reacted again. It's probably gonna break, right? If I just jump on the FOIC, well, FOIC is simple. I think it's very similar to another JPY pair we had. I think it was NJ. Where's NJ? No, NJ is bearish, so it's yeah, there it is. So this is exactly the same as AJ, kind of pushed. This one is staying at supply, but it's still bullish on the FOIC. And again, this one is also at supply, but it's still bullish on the FOIC, and it's giving us a nice reaction right there. So again, this is currently the 4-hourly high that is supposed to be taken, right? So if you manage to find any long right there, then that's fine. You should be already running longs here on the 50-minute. Push, pull back, long, 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 long. Wow, quite a couple of longs right there that I see, all right?
So let's see, right? Let's see. I'm bullish on the 4H. I do suspect that this high could potentially get taken. It could be a miracle that the market actually massively goes down from here, because it tried to go massively down from here like 1 times, 2 times, 3 times, like here it tapped again 4. So is it gonna go down 5 and 6 times? I don't know. It just looks like it wants to break, because imagine how many people are right now short with a stop loss above. It really makes sense for this level to break. So let's see. Bullish on the 4-hourly time frame. I follow the 4-hourly time frame. Let me know what you guys think on GJ. Gold is giving us another bearish week right there. So again, after this massive expansion into the upside, we can of course go on the left and draw a little supply zone, which is something that I again not always do. But again, when you see a reaction, it's always good to go. Okay, so we probably responded from this. Okay, but again, the next question you have to ask is, well, is the market bearish, or is it this just a response in order to break, or is it like a full reversal? Right? Well, so far we see that the market is in an overall pullback. According to me, like, yeah, the weekly higher low is this, right? So here you can see all the candles made, almost all the candles made highs except this one. A little bit hard for me, right, to figure out the weekly range. Okay, so is this the weekly range? Is this the weekly range, or is this the weekly range? Right, so that is a little bit tough, but according to me, gold right now on the macro side of things is bullish. Dropping on the daily is bearish, however, right? So we came in right there, took the high into the supply, broke the low, lower low, and we're just rolling down. And again, here we have all of these candles making lower low, so there is not any valid lower high. So technically this is our daily supply, right? So we are bearish on the daily, just keeping to roll to the downside. And again, gold this week was all about like going with a continuation. We had the shakeout right there during CPI, I think. Do we have really CPI? I think we did. Yeah, this was the shakeout. And yeah, then technically you just keep following the market, right? And then it goes down, breaks the structure, pulls back, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, although it wicked it up for a little bit. So yeah, technically right now, it looks a little bit extended, because you can see we've been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and this is a daily lower low, right? So currently the 4-hourly time frame is just testing this last lower high. So yeah, pretty similar to all the other pairs. A couple of things to happen. We either flush from here, right? We either give a response and break above and turn bullish, or we just like rocket to the upside, come and retest some of these levels, and then we're gonna see what is gonna happen. Okay, so there are my 3 outcomes on gold. I always try to give outcomes, right? I don't tell you it's gonna short from here, right? Because anybody who's gonna try tell you, yeah, it's gonna short from here, I really hate it when somebody says like buy from 1820. That's the level. So this really shows that yes, you're really confident in what you're doing, you're really confident on that level, but you don't understand like trading, and that you just never know what is gonna happen. Of course, technical analysis helps us to potentially frame a trade idea, but it's never gonna be 100%. We're just playing probabilities, we have our edge, right? But yeah, enough of my ramp. This is how I look at gold right now, my 3 outcomes. Let's see, like if I see the 50-minute starts to roll to the downside, then shorts could be in play. But just looking at the bullish momentum coming in on Friday, to me, it just makes sense that we take out the high, right? But again, we never know. If we take out the high, this will be a 4-hourly reversal. So a 4-hourly break of structure, trend change. Then we can try to look for a couple of longs, taking us into like, you can also target like the 50% on the daily, right? Or just to take the market above the 50%. So let's see how Monday opens, and then I'm gonna be updating on Tuesday. All the USD pairs are kind of in this very nice lower high formation right now, but all of those could also break and give us that little daily pullback. So again, let's see, flow with the markets. So this week US 30 did something very important, but it's still waiting for something in order to make a move, right? So we're having 3 weeks right now of an overall consolidation, and it's very, very hard to trade, all right? I took 2 break-evens and 2 stop losses this week on US 30, so rather tough. On one of the trades, actually on all the trades, I deviated a little bit from my plan. So that is like the first time I'm doing it. But again, I'm just going to give you the example when I go into it. Daily time frame is still, it's still kind of range. It's still bearish. Like if you just track it from here, this is the last daily push. We came in, reacted, we came in, reacted, and we came in, took this high and took this high, which is what I was expecting for quite a while. This high to be taken and this high to be taken, right? We took them and look at the reaction, right? Boom, boom. It actually from here, it aligned bearish, according to me. It's not very clean, but this is valid range right there. And then it overall very nicely rolled to the downside. Okay. So technically right now it's it's bearish, right? So the major lower high according to me is, it's not this one right there. So it's, yeah, it's this. So which is a zone that I really don't like. So then, yeah, I have to use the 8 hourly, but this is also very tiny, right? This is very tiny. So then you can do 12 hours and it's still tiny, right? So you can try to find like a zone that is not very small, but I don't think you're gonna find it. So technically right now to me US30 is bearish, right? So I'm looking for shorts going forward next week. The question is, okay, where do we short from? There is this zone as well. So again, this one is very big. I don't want to draw like this. So the zones right now on US30 are not perfect, like on the 4-hourly time frame especially. So just be aware that we are about to be tapping into this little supply zone, but that our major lower high is this. Okay, so are we gonna start seeing the sells next week? I'm really excited to see, right? So I'm currently bearish on this one. The 4-hourly is bearish, the daily is bearish, and then all that matters is what the 50 minutes is gonna do. So on US30, we use a very specific rule on the 50 minute, and I stayed away from this rule because, let me show you. This was the range on US30, right? That was the range on US30. This was our major lower high. Oops. This was our major lower high. And what I did this week is I tried to trade these kind of price actions right there. So I took a short from here. It was a break even. And then, where's my next trade? Yeah, I don't remember where is my next trade. I have to look back, but I pretty much traded this range, right? And if you remember, if I just go a little bit to the left, where is it? Yeah, there it is. Here, I stayed out of the market. Although I was seeing all of these setups, right? I stayed out of the market for how much time did it take, right? So for 8 days, I did not trade US30 because it was stuck in this range. But I saw a lot of opportunities inside. So this week I was like, okay, let me experiment to trade internal structure. And it wasn't good. 2 break-evens and 2 stop losses. So lesson learned, don't deviate from your plan. I don't usually do, but I just kind of played with US30. Maybe a little bit FOMO to trade US30. Yeah, that was definitely the case because I saw Euro USD was moving, so I was like, okay, let's maybe jump onto US30 to make some good returns, but it usually doesn't work like this, right? So bearish market right now, looking to see how the market is going to respond from this zone, or if it's going to come in like overall towards that zone right there. This high could also be utilized as liquidity in order to tap inside this upper zone. Let's see, I'm looking for the shorts. So you can see that, for example, NASDAQ and the S&P, they already took this high. So they're kind of right now like, what are we going to do? Are we going to go up or are we going to go down? Right? So we have been in this range for 2 weeks right now on NASDAQ. And yeah, the 4-hourly time frame is also bullish. So to me, NASDAQ and S&P are not tradable because this is the daily range. This is also the 4-hourly range. So again, don't do my mistake. Don't trade the internal structure right there. Well, you can do if you wish, right? And then again, S&P is the same as well. So it tapped the 4-hourly zone, tried to push, failed. It comes in again to tap it. It's going to try to push. And yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to fail. This here will be a 4-hourly break of structure down, right? But we still have this kind of daily, yeah, is it the daily one? Yeah, it's a daily demand zone. So trying to figure it out, like trying to figure it out. It's waiting for something. I'm not sure what. We have some sort of news incoming, but overall the indices are chopping around. And if I just take you to the fear and greed index, we're still greedy, right? We're getting like a little bit of a pullback. Like you can see, we're still chopping around like the extreme greed territory, right? Where are their stats? Yeah, they're a timeline. So yeah, we came in like a 76, 79 greed. Like that is very big. That is very big. Then we came in and retested again 79. And right now we're withdrawing a little bit, right? So the question is, are we going to have another push up or are we just chopping around right now, accumulating for a sell-off, right? So again, I don't know. I'm just monitoring closely. I'm just very happy that US30 finally took that liquidity right there, right? And it's right now aligning beautifully bearish on the 4-hourly time frame. So again, what we have right there, massive range, took the low, took the high, starts to trend down. I just hope this is not another liquidity gap and then take it into the highs. Definitely could happen, but of course, we're going to flow with the markets nevertheless. So let's see, excited to see if we get any good trades on US30 next week. I'm going to be doing more trading setups breakdowns. Let me know, guys, if you're trading US30 intraday and if you're interested in seeing me trade US30. Crypto, interesting development on crypto. Like I had this liquidity area right there. It came in and took it,
right? So actually came in, responded from the zone and gave a massive reaction. So what is happening with crypto? It's starting to get really bullish, which is nice. Came in, tagged it in, and right now it actually aligned bearish on the 4H, right? So it's starting to pick up my my interest, right? But again, I'm still pretty skeptical. I don't think the market has seen enough fear yet. So if we have another breakdown right now, because a lot of people are going to get excited, but I like the overall formation, right? I like the overall range. I like the overall manipulation down. I like the accumulation at the bottom, and I like how right now it starts to expand. Okay. Is it really going to do it? Is it really going to reverse? We don't know, right? So again, if you're trading it, it's a good time to trade because it's having some momentum. It's really nice. It's really volatile. But personally, I don't trade the cryptos. Ethereum as well. Like Ethereum gave us a bearish alignment right there, and then it just broke up, right? So it just followed Bitcoin. So right now, technically, yeah, on the daily, we are bullish. We can draw our demand zone. And yeah, just look for a new setup, right? So currently they are both kind of looking short-term bearish on the 40 time frame. So can we get like a short into the daily demand zone and then push up again? I don't know, right? But this will be my forecast on the cryptos, which I don't trade, right? So I want to wrap it up here. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. It was rather simple, rather straightforward. We have some really interesting setups going forward. It's going to be very important to see what the Dixie is going to do and then how, of course, all the other pairs are going to align. I'm really excited for US30 because it finally did what I wanted to see it do. So right now it's all about actually flowing with it and seeing what it wants to do. And yeah, hopefully I can really get into the zone to finish February strong because it's been tough. January was not good. February is kind of really up and down, had a profitable week, had a like a -1. So it's kind of just oscillating around the break even and little profit. So really don't love my performance so far, but that's fine. That's part of being a trader. I always say, like, don't rely on trading for consistent monthly income, right? This month you can win 10%, the other one you can lose 2%, the other one you can be break even, the other one you can win like 2%. You just don't know, right? So have a crushing week ahead, guys. Have a relaxing weekend and talk to you on Tuesday.